Well, spring is in the air, and that means with the nice weather conditions, motorcycles will be sharing the roads with cars. We'll all have to be very mindful and vigilant when paying attention to all our surroundings.
Very important topic to discuss in hopes of reducing the number of crashes and fatalities. Here to facilitate our conversation is John Saunders, Director of Virginia DMV Highway Safety Office, along with Ken Crumpler, Virginia DMV Motorcycle Safety Program Manager. Thanks for coming in, guys. First question is about, is there one place in the state or a couple places in the state where we have more problems than others?
Well, Bill, first, thank you for having us. It's a very important topic whenever we're talking about highway safety. But motorcycles now are kind of coming into the season with the weather that's going on. But as we look around the state, it's kind of spread around the state. But it's expected wherever you have the higher amount of population and concentration of individuals, you're going to find more of the crashes. So Northern Virginia area, of course, the Tidewater area, you're going to find them. And as we go out toward the west of Charlottesville, if you go out toward the Covington and Charlottesville and the Blacksburg and those areas, we're still going to see crashes. So it's kind of spread out across the state.
The flowers are blooming, the temperatures are nice, and motorcycles come out on the road because you want to take advantage of being out there and enjoying your bike.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the number of motorcycles on the roadway increases, and that's new and different because there are new riders coming out who maybe aren't as familiar, and certainly new drivers who aren't as familiar with sharing the road.
Well, last year alone, well, let's go for the last 4 years. Between 2016 and 2019, we had 356 fatalities, motorcycle fatalities. And if we look at that, in the first 2 years, we had a bump from 72 to 101 fatalities that happened. And then over the last 2 years, our numbers have been about 88 and 89 per year. So that's a big number. That's about almost 10%, a little bit over 10% of our total fatalities are motorcycle fatalities. So it is a very serious thing and something we just want to keep, especially motorists, make motorists aware of their responsibilities also.
Ken, you and I are the only people probably on the stage that ride motorcycles.
John did in the past, and
Yeah,
he got a little bit smarter than the rest of us.
Yeah, I did too, and I got scared to death the last time I rode one. I always felt like nobody saw me when I was on a motorcycle, and people would pull out in front of me, or and that's a big problem, isn't it?
That's not just a perception. There's some reality and science to that a smaller object, which on the highway a motorcycle is, seems smaller and is actually coming faster than the eye perceives. So that depth perception can be a bit deceiving for motorists who would pull up right out in front of a motorcycle that is far closer to them than they realize.
Yeah, and the other thing I think that people don't realize is that if you're on a motorcycle, you don't necessarily use your brakes to slow down most of the time, and so therefore there's no brake light for you to see.
Either it's called engine braking, where you downshift or just coast to the stop, and again, there's no brake light that signals the motorist behind you, so that makes it more important for the motorist to keep that cushion between them and the motorcycle in front of them.
That's incredible. I did not know that.
You
so
downshift. You don't use the brakes to the last minute.
That makes sense.
And with the people that ride right on top of one another that we all see all the time, motorcycle, that's very dangerous.
And Ken, you brought a helmet today that has some detail work on the side.
Some custom work. No, that was the helmet I was wearing in July of 2017. I was west of Richmond, coming off of 288, getting onto I-64 East. Coming off of the throttle, it was a beautiful sunny day, light traffic, and I was rear-ended from behind at approximately 60 miles an hour.
Wow.
Knocked the bike out from underneath me into a guardrail. And because I was wearing the recommended and proper gear, a full face helmet, an armored jacket, boots, gloves, my injuries were minimized. I was still injured, a few broken bones, we still got a couple of scars from it, but because of the gear, those injuries could have been a lot worse. And so that's why it's so important for riders to wear all the gear all the time. It's a concept called ADGAT.
Motorists be aware, motorcyclists be cautious and patient and aware as well, and wear that protective gear. Thank you both for being with us.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you so much for
Thank you
having
so
us.
much.
Good to see you. For
More information on our link on our website later today, wtvr.com/VT.
we'll have it all right there. Thanks so much for watching Virginia This Morning. Our live show returns tomorrow at 9 a.m. We'll be live from Richmond Raceway for the Richmond Home and Garden Show.
Come on out and see us tomorrow morning live.